Welcome to Voting Voices here on MX24. My name is Miriam Udwak Mensa. Well, today on Voting Voices, a program dedicated to elevating informed civic engagement and unpacking the key issues shaping Ghana's democratic journey. Again, I always say on this platform that we give the opportunity to young people to voice out their frustrations, because it's mostly frustrations, really, honestly. As a young Ghanaian, you know what's happening here. And when we're having these conversations, we give them a platform to talk about important conversations that bother on the development of this country. This morning, we have an opportunity, a very rare one at that, to have a conversation with Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah. I would have loved to do what I usually would do here, but let's take a look at his profile.
Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah is a Ghanaian politician, communications professional, and a member of parliament for the Ofoase Ayirebi constituency. He has served in key ministerial positions including Minister for Information and Minister for Works and Housing, where he played important roles in government, communication, infrastructure development, and housing policy. As Minister for Information, Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah was the government's chief spokesperson leading public engagement and communication on national policy reforms and major government initiatives. His tenure was marked by regular public briefings and effort to strengthen transparency and public access to government information. In his role as Minister for Works and Housing, he oversaw policies and programs related to public infrastructure, housing development and urban planning, with a focus on addressing Ghana's housing deficits and improving the delivery of works projects across the country. Beyond his ministerial roles, Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah has a strong background in the media and communications, which continues to shape his approach to politics and governance. In Parliament, he remains an active contributor to national discourse, particularly on issues of governance, the economy, and democratic accountability. Within the New Patriotic Party, the NPP, he is regarded as a key voice in party communications and strategic engagement, especially as the party reflects on its performance in the 2024 elections and prepares for the upcoming presidential primaries.
Awesome. Well, there you have it. You know who we're speaking to this morning. Well, is it too early to say Merry Christmas?
No, I think it's
yeah, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Impression I gone away.
How you guys doing?
I'm doing very well.
And I'm okay. Welcome to my office. I watch you guys from afar, but it's good to see all of you guys here.
You want to give us feedback right now?
I think you're doing pretty well. I mean, I watch some of your shows. The Dish, for example. I like to watch and hear what the ladies think. And it's like world-class standard production content is exciting. I watch your mornings as well. And for me, it's also good feedback as somebody in the political space, especially when I hear young people talking about how they perceive things, what matters to them. So I think you guys are doing
Thank you. This feedback is very important. Now you have to tell our bosses that now we need a raise. We're 11 months in Parliament, in opposition.
Yes.
How is opposition treating you? What do you think?
Opposition is hard. Opposition is hard. I think first there's a mental thing of getting used to the idea that you are not on the right-hand side of the speaker, which literally means that you are now in the minority. You are not running government business. You are rather responding to government business. And then there's the second challenge of, the fact that our numbers have been reduced so much.
Do you want to be honest?
Yeah, well, they want to call us the minority.
Do you accept the name?
We reject it. We are the mighty minority. Yeah. We may be small in number, but we are big in brain power. Yeah. So there's that one, and that creates its own difficulties. And then also, I think there's a general adjustment of being in power one day and not being in power the next day, which everybody who goes through that you have to adjust to. So it's been an interesting 11, 12 months, but we move.
Yeah, Mamo, minority. But great conversations have come out of Parliament. And again, you have earned yourself, I don't know whether it's a good name, but the title of a very disruptive minority. Oh. What would you say about that?
Again, I would disagree with that. I mean, the NDC did worse when they were in minority. Okay. They were fighting, kicking ballot boxes, sometimes marching in the chamber, doing all sorts of stuff. We have mostly been very, very, very cooperative and supportive of government business. The few times when we have had to be disruptive is when, unfortunately, we've been left with no choice. than to defend ourselves. I mean, the first time when there was a scuffle at the vetting, you would notice that there were agreements on how to go about it, and the majority was trying to use their numbers to override that agreement. And it led to a lot of, untidy scenes there that night. And then I think just about a week ago, when the clerk of parliament in the middle of the night over the weekend surreptitiously wrote a letter to the EC that Pandai was vacant. And
that wasn't agreed on.
No, it wasn't. In fact, we had raised it on the floor, and Mr. Speaker had said that he couldn't declare the seat vacant because the case was still in court. And that even if he filed appeal processes, he would have to wait until the processes are completed. Then on Sunday night or so, the clerk writes a letter that Mr. Speaker has told him that it is vacant, so they're easy. So you will notice that Tuesday morning, there was, no. So we withdrew cooperation. It was a very untidy scene in the chamber. Later, we had cause to engage and try and find a more decent path forward. So we've been cooperative. It's only when we are pushed to the corner that I think sometimes it becomes difficult to control our members.
Right. So have you heard from Speaker of Parliament
No, we are asking that he should take the chair. He hasn't been in the chair since that day. He should take the chair and make a proper declaration that that letter that is flying about is void. Because you also notice that the Supreme Court has now even suspended that election that they were rushing to conduct, that they want to finish with the matter, so they can't go ahead. And that tells you that that purported declaration of vacancy should be declared as void by the Speaker. So we are hoping that he'll come and take the chair any day from now and make that declaration.
On your demands in Parliament, you're calling for the removal of the... No, not you, but the minority is calling for the removal of some members of Parliament, some ministers. And then also the majority is asking for the removal of the OSP and the scrapping of the OSP's office. These two conversations have come up in Parliament quite a lot. What's your take on these?
So for the members of our caucus who have asked that I think the lands minister be fired or should resign, the reason they have given is that he has botched a major policy action of government. We need money to run this country. The NPP left you 10% of lithium royalties. Then he comes in and comes up with some wild idea that he has reduced it to 5%, and he tries to justify it with something. If he goes ahead with that reduction, we're going to lose between $200 and $600 million. Between $200 and $600 million. Do you know how many jobs that can create for young people? And so now that first we warned, he didn't listen, he laid it, and he's been forced to withdraw to now go and reconsider and re-engage. Those who moved that particular petition argue that it's a mark of a major policy failure, and that's why they think that he should resign. On the matter of the OSP, and that's a very interesting one, now is the majority who used to be praising the OSP when he was going after NPP people. They are now the ones that after he arrested Martin Pebu, now they say they want to scrap the office altogether. And we are telling them that they are being hypocrites. Because when the OSP was chasing NPP people and was, in our view, doing things that the law didn't give him power to do, they were defending him. They said, that people should go and bring their personal property so that they can get bail. Now, when he arrested their own, person, they are now complaining. And we think that hypocrisy should not be, supported. But yeah, those are conversations.
We've had people, I think a couple of weeks ago, I had a conversation with the chairman of the NPP for English and Wafo. He mentioned that they are in support of the removal of the OSP and the scrapping of the office because he believes that it is not serving its purpose and there's no need for that. So we have had people from your side as well agree to...
Well, so I would believe that he's expressing his personal opinion, and he's allowed to have that opinion. We as a caucus have not taken a decision to support that move that the majority wants to play out. What we have told them is that today they are the ones with more than 2/3, and they have been trying to snatch more seats. So if they really want to do it, they don't need to have a discussion with us. They should put it on the table. You notice confusion in their camp. They tried it, then the president said they wouldn't do it, and now he's told them to pull it back. And now they say they have pulled it back. And despite that, the speaker says that it is still being considered. The first deputy speaker says it is still being into confusion. I have Basa on their side, but it's in their own.
Let's stay on Pandai a little bit. So what's the position of the minority now? with regards to the developments we've seen so far, both in Parliament and with the Supreme Court?
Well, so specific to the election, we believe that the court, and it's not just our belief, the law and the facts back us, the court in Tamale that purported to annul that election did not have jurisdiction in the first place. And so everything that they did in law will say is brutum frumen, empty thunder, bubumkwa. And that's why we've gone to the Supreme Court asking for a certiorari to be issued to quash what they thought they had done at the Tamale High Court. And the simple reason is that you have 21 days within which you should file your petition. The guy lost the election, didn't file the petition in 21 days. In fact, I think in like 32 days or so, that's when he filed the petition. And the judge, who should have known that he doesn't have jurisdiction, also said, well, he has jurisdiction. Secondly, when the guy said he has problem with 5 polling stations, the judge even gifted him more that he has cancelled the whole election. So for us, it doesn't make sense at all. And that's why we are at the Supreme Court asking that it be quashed. We're waiting for the Supreme Court to hear. And I think that because they know clearly that we're going to win, looking at the fact, that's why they're trying to rush it through so that it will be overtaken by events. But that's why the Supreme Court has also told them that suspend the election, let's deal with the matter before then. And we are hoping that the law lords will ensure that justice prevails.
Actually do that? Can a judge just agree to take on a case and make it go through without any consequences?
We're in interesting times. Okay. We had a scenario where Kwame Bafo-Abronye said something that obviously, many people didn't like. And they took him to court. And the judge didn't quote the law. He quoted Idi Amin. That Idi Amin once said that, you can have freedom of speech, but you can't have freedom after speech. And therefore, he's remanded him in custody. Can you imagine? And later, in fact, it was here in my office and here at my law firm that we worked on his bail application and then finally got him bail. And the substantive matter itself is yet to be taken up in court. But we're in interesting times. We fear, and in all honesty, we fear that the NDC is trying to manipulate the judiciary. And they've done it through various ways. They sacked the Chief Justice, brought in somebody else. And what that has done is that it's created fear among judges. So you're afraid that when the NDC brings a matter to court and you don't rule for them, you could be the next. And we sense that that is what is translating into some of these, may I say, questionable judicial decisions. You can't use Idi Amin as a basis to make a decision. You can't purport to have jurisdiction and quash an election that even the person who petitioned after the 21 days, by the way, asked for just about 5 polling stations to be annulled. But this is what Ghanaians have voted for. We will continue to advocate and draw attention to the facts. And we hope sincerely that over time, Ghanaians will see that things are not going the way they had hoped it would go. And secondly, Ghanaians will see that we have also learnt our lessons on where we went wrong in government and give us an opportunity to do better next time.
We will get on that building trust for your party. 2024 election, I've had different conversations with different people in your party, and it's almost as if you are not prepared, even though when you heading towards elections, you're prepared for a win or lose, you were not prepared for such lose or lose at all. So in your opinion, looking at what has happened so far, the event in 2024 leading to the elections and the elections itself, what would you say about that?
So you go into government with the view, or you take up any job with the view that you want to do your best. You want to deliver so that people will be happy. And once they are happy, they will retain you in office. And to be honest, we did our best. In the first 4 years, we gave it our best shot. But everybody will recall, though I know the NDC has done so much propaganda with it that sometimes people don't want to hear it. Yeah. Everybody will recall that in 2020, we had a major crisis on our hands. We had a major COVID challenge. And the impact of COVID was that it literally shut down the Ghanaian economy. Right. And when an economy is shut down, 2 major things happen. The government does not get any revenue to use to service the needs of the people. Secondly, why the economy is so important is that the economy is the ecosystem within which people function. So there's a lady who sells gobe just at my junction here. If the economy is functioning, her gobe business will do well. Right. So the moment the economy is shut down because of whether it's war or a health challenge like COVID, she will struggle. So what happened from 2020 was that government revenues literally crumbled. And then number 2, the economy also literally collapsed to about 0.9% of GDP in terms of growth. And therefore, hardships started coming around.
Right.
And when people have voted for you as a government and the thing happening around them is that there's hardship, they sometimes don't really care about the cost. They are like, Masa, yeah, to abama, yeah, so get out of here. We tried between 2021 and 2024 to recover. One of the ways to recover was to introduce some taxes so that we could get some more revenue to take care of the people's needs. And, people heavily kicked against those taxes, of course, supported by the NDC propaganda or led by the NDC propaganda. So then you had an economy that had struggled. You had people's economic well-being that had dwindled, and then cost of living had also gone up. And then on top of that, we were levying new taxes. Charlie, people didn't want to hear that at all. And all of that culminated in us being kicked out of power. So we tried our very best, but it's like a football game. You win, you lose. And we lost that election. We've spent a lot of time trying to understand the why. We've done several bouts of research. We have clarity on why we lost, some of which I've mentioned to you. We've also tried to understand what do we need to do to better manage our party. We are trying, but it's hard.
And then, what's happening?
Well, because, a political party is an embodiment of millions of people. And one of the things that makes a party attractive is how the party looks.
Indeed.
So if anytime you switch on your television, you see two NPP people fighting, that is not a party that looks attractive. So while we are trying to reform, there are also people in the house who are also just always causing wahala. Yeah. And that has a way of affecting how the party is perceived. So we're trying, it's hard, we think we'll succeed in the end. And then we're also trying to make reforms on our policy agenda, so that next time we have an opportunity to govern, our policies don't suffer from some of the challenges that the last time we governed, the policies suffered.
Right. So on the things some of the things you've mentioned, so we're going to touch on that a little bit before we go back to the 3-pager. Let's talk about the CJ's removal, the Chief Justice's removal. You're a lawyer yourself. A lot of people do not know that.
Really?
Yeah.
They should bring me cases. When I defend them, they'll know.
They'll know. So the removal of the CJ, there have been different conversations about it, harming the judiciary largely, really, and then again to the Ghanaian people being affected. So you're a player in the field. Let us know what this looks like as a lawyer.
So first of all, the government or the NDC will tell you that there's nothing political about it. It was Article 146 that was operating. Somebody brought up, threw all of that away. They had a pre-advertised intention to get rid of the CJ. I mean, nobody's a kid in this country. They used to call her Osono Mami on social media. We all saw it, that they tried to attach her to the NPP. Yes. They even held a press conference openly to make the point that they are unhappy with some of the decisions that the courts are making, and they think that those are influenced by her. They went further to say that they wanted to appoint NDC people onto the bench as judges because they thought the courts generally don't favor them. Now, when you say all of this, and then you come to power and all of a sudden a petition pops up, and you say you've made a prima facie determination, we never see the determination. You say you have 3 petitions, you go and determine one, and there are 2 more to be determined. The 2 don't get determined, and then they say they have sacked it. Come on, nobody is a kid in this country. But it's okay, they have the power, and they've decided.
But do you not think that it could have been a genuine...
they haven't shown anybody the prima facie determination they made up till today.
In your experience, and again, we're learning, and we're also speaking to young people who want to understand really what has happened over there. Is there a possibility that we have anywhere in our constitution that you don't necessarily have to show the prima facie to Ghanaians or people?
Justice would that be that I can convict you without showing you the basis on which you are guilty? Right. It just doesn't make sense. So if you say you've made a prima facie determination against her, let us see the prima facie determination. Nobody saw it. And then they've constituted the committee. The committee sat in camera. The committee that they say is sitting in camera and nobody should talk about it. You find NDC officials on TV and radio making all sort of allegations against the woman. And the woman can hardly defend herself. Because in one breath, you say the thing is supposed to be in camera. In another breath, you are maligning her in public. So it was a whole orchestrated thing to get rid of her. And I don't think anybody's fooled by that. And then now they've appointed about 65 people onto the bench as judges. If you're a supporter of the NDC, you may see nothing wrong with it. You think it's okay. But we're of the view that major damage is being done to the judiciary in the sense that the judiciary is the last bastion of our democracy. If you and I have a problem, we shouldn't be allowed to take the law into our own hands. We should be able to go to a court that we can trust, make our case, and the court will make a determination. And the courts have ruled in times past that justice must not only be done, but must be manifestly seen to be done. So when you do this to the courts, people lose faith in the judiciary, and people may be resorting to self-help sooner than later. And we think it's a very dangerous development. We are also saying to you that today we believe that a lot of judges are scared. That's why you are having these animal farm decisions that are being made. Judges who are making decisions and quoting Idi Amin and George Orwell's Animal Farm. Judges who are assuming jurisdiction when they don't have jurisdiction. And all of these things are, beginning to happen. And we think it's because fear has been instilled in the judges. And that is also a very dangerous precedent for us. We are still going to go to court, which is my last answer to your question. Me personally as a lawyer, and we as a collective group, we'll still go to court. And we will be fortified by the laws of this land and judicial precedent. And we will be speaking to the conscience of the judges on the bench, that it doesn't matter who appointed you. If the law says that the petition must be filed within 21 days, and he came in 32 days, your hands are tied. You have to ensure that justice is done. And there's no way you can look at the Bible you swore on and God in the face and do injustice to Matthew Nyindam and the thousands of people who voted in Bandai on this matter. So me as a lawyer and generally as a political group, we will still go to court. We'll still make our case. And we'll also make our case to the Ghanaian people. And we trust that over time, people's consciences will be awoken to the realities that are going on around us.
Minority in parliament.
The mighty minority. Mighty minority.
The mighty minority in parliament. Your leader has come under so much fire.
As is expected.
As is expected. Yes. But then you do not think that he's allowing these. Could he not, say in the first year, just allow things to flow, the business of the house to flow, and then begin to poke holes into the ones that he deems, fit, and then also address
everything that we have spoken about as a minority is because we genuinely believe that there is a substantive matter to be dealt with. And I can give you several examples. Currently, we're dealing with the Bank of Ghana Amendment Act. This is the first time that the Bank of Ghana Act is being amended by the government to say that when they have revenue shortfalls, the Bank of Ghana should be able to print money for them. It's never happened before. If you look at the old...
It's never been done before.
No, if you look at the old act that they are trying to amend, it's not in it. They are putting it in this new one. Yesterday, for example, I was on my feet behind my leader on the floor protesting that you can't do this. You can't put this in the law. Mr. Speaker put the question, all those in favor say aye. They say aye. They have voted for it. So we have to do what we do, not because we want to be difficult, but because we genuinely believe that there are errors in some of the things that they are doing. Yesterday, they brought the concession agreement for the Accra-Kumasi Expressway. Yes. And when I read the report, I noticed two scary things in it. One was the fact that, this expressway that they have done the videos and they are showing to everybody, they haven't even done feasibility study. They haven't done feasibility study. It's in the report. So, for example, if my leader is on his feet and he's raising it, it's not that criminal wants to be disruptive or something. No, it's because genuinely, we have seen in the report that there's no feasibility study done. I raised it on the floor yesterday. The second thing, the report says that they have 13 billion cedis ring-fenced for the project. That 13 billion cedis in the 2025 budget, they haven't spent it. It's ring-fenced. It's lying down for the project. I know that 10 billion of that money has been spent. In fact, the finance minister reported to us that 10 billion has been spent, Appendix 2C of the 2026 budget. So I opened it and showed it to them on the floor. Now, Minister, if your people are telling you that the money is there, it's not true. They've chopped it already.
What?
Second.
Based on the fact that you have enough information about this, what have they spent?
The minister reported, he brought a report to Parliament that they have spent the money.
Yeah.
Then yesterday, they brought another document that the money is ring-fenced. It's there. So when we in the minority, the mighty minority, are raising these matters, it's not because we are being difficult or obstructionist. It's because genuinely we realize that there's something wrong. And to the credit of government, there are a good number of times that when you raise it, they will find a nice way of pulling back and correcting. Like the lithium one, for example. Yes. Okay. Then there are times when they want to be obstinate to use their numbers to push it through. If it is by a fair vote, we don't even have a problem. But now when they try to, let's say, use their numbers to overrun the rules, just because they have a speaker in the chair and they have their numbers, they will overrun the rules. That's when now you realize that we're having to get a bit hostile. But no, it is not out of malice that our leader or ourselves are always on the floor doing what we do. We're actually doing it for the people of Ghana. It's not about us. If you see right now, if you tell people that this Accra Kumasi Expressway is coming and they see the videos, and somebody goes to buy land because he sees that this is coming, so he also wants to make an investment there. Some young person is given a job and is given an appointment letter because of that. And we realize that you haven't even done feasibility. We have an obligation to tell everybody that you haven't done feasibility. Minister, pay attention and do the feasibility. And so that those who are also banking their hopes on what you are saying, in law we say caveat emptor, buyer beware, they will beware. You know, they promised 800,000 jobs in the 2026 budget, that by the time 2026 is done, 800,000 young people will get jobs. Do you know that when I went into the budget, I found out that 490,000 of those jobs are going to be temporary laborers on construction sites. It's in their own budget. So we have an obligation to tell young people that, dear young man, if you believe that this government, when you graduate from school, is organizing things so that you get a job, please let me inform you that the plan that they have brought, which they believe you may probably not even read or see, because you know, many of us don't actually read the budget. In that plan, 490,000 of those jobs are going to be laborers on construction sites. Are you part of it? If you are not, then join us in drawing the government's attention that they should stop the dancing in the chamber and pay attention to the more serious things. So we don't do it out of malice.
Clarified, isn't it? let's talk about the NPP as a party, and we're going to be going on the break right now. But before we get into that, let's start with why the rush to, organize your primaries in 2026. You mentioned earlier that, there are people in the party that are making it difficult to make the party attractive. And we all agree with you that the elitist party that we knew in the past isn't what we're seeing now on social media and everywhere else. And so you would say that, listen, do the homework, stay at home and make it happen before you come here and present as a leader. And then there's the argument that, listen, if you're going to give you anything nice, we need someone to lead us to make it happen. But why do you think your family is rushing to get a leader?
I won't say rushing. This is not the first time that we've brought the timetable for electing our flag bearer forward. The first time we did it was in 2000.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, in 96 when President Kufuor ran, he didn't win. He got 39%. Right. And then in 2000, we brought the calendar forward because there was a bit of chaos. So we brought the calendar forward, had an early primary. J. Kufuor took the leadership once again, and discipline was instilled in the party. And we were able to now organize ourselves, present him again, and he won in 2000. We are here 2024. We lost. We got 41.7%. I know they like to tease us that it's 38%. It's not true. It's 41.7%. Okay. But we also know that if we do not reorganize ourselves quickly, the chaos will continue. Okay. And so we need to have this primary early, elect one of the 5 as our leader, and also do the reforms so that whoever the new leader is can stamp his authority and we can have discipline and clarity and better organize ourselves for the 3 years ahead of the election. So for me, it's not a rush. It's a strategic, wise decision which we've done before, and it has served us well, and that's why we're doing it again.
Honorable, his thoughts about the 5 presented to the party or to Ghanaians to bring forward. Before 31st of January, we're going to be seeing who it is that Honorable support. You should I help? You belong to the Power Camp. Absolutely. Yeah. So we're going for a quick commercial break. When we return, the conversation continues right here on Voting Voices. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Voting Voices here on MX24. My name is Miriam Uduak-Mensah, and yes, we have been having a wonderful time spending time with the Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, MP for Ofoase Ayirebi. Did I pronounce that well?
You got it right.
Yes.
So that's the constituency.
Yes.
Ofoase Ayirebi.
Ofoase Ayirebi.
They are two big towns.
Yeah.
Literally put together for electoral purposes.
Okay. So he is the MP. Also, this is his third term.
That is so.
But that's very impressive.
Well, we try.
Extremely impressive. Someone actually told me when I put up the ads that we're going to have an interview with you, he said, as for Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah and Ofoase, like 5 and 6, what talk constituency no. What did you do to impress the people that much?
I think it's because I've, over the period, built a very strong affinity with my people, and every time you will notice that I'm trying to help improve the lot of our people one way or the other. So maybe that's what's created that strong affinity.
But how did you come up with such leadership? Because again, we've seen a few people do that. I'll take Kennedy Japon and a few other people. I cannot mention many names. But why did you decide to be that kind of leader that looks into constantly developing, your constituency?
I was called to leadership. I did not have an ambition to be a member of parliament. I had left Joy FM at the time. I had gone to law school, just finished with my LLB, working towards graduating and, coming to build my firm and then to run my private business. And then I got called by my constituents and the leadership of the party that they wanted me to run for member of parliament, because at the time our member of parliament had done 3 terms and said he wasn't going to run again. And I was a patron of the party, so we support. But I remember the last time we engaged before that we were thinking about what kind of person we needed. And I was one of the loud voices who were saying, listen, you need somebody who can market the constituency so that we can get a lot of support and help. You need somebody who can advocate very well for the constituency. So we talked about it. Then later a delegation was sent to Accra to come and see me that we found a candidate. I was like, brilliant, let's see the person and talk to him. They say it is you. But after some discussions and consideration, we went in. So I went in response to a call. And my first focus was to understand what are the big needs that we have. What are the things I can do? What are the things I cannot do? So the things I can do, let me pay attention and do them well. And we picked 5 things. So right from the beginning, I campaigned that we're going to do only 5 things, not more. 5 things. We're going to do education, we're going to do health, we're going to do infrastructure, we're going to do economy, skills development and jobs, and then we're going to go do advocacy. So 5 things. So I won. Well, we're doing them concurrently. In fact, today I was just looking at a report. So every year we have a program document that spells out each of the things we want to do for each area. So this is education, and how much it's going to cost us and the kind of impact we want to make. And then we just go. So we do the 5 concurrently. For example, in education, one of the things that we do is our scholarship and bursaries program. And I think about 2 months ago, we gave out our 729th disbursement. So we've done 729 disbursements so far. We're just about to do the next batch of, I think, about 15 or 20. In terms, also under education, we have a program that we call the Education Infrastructure Improvement Program, because I have a lot of schools under trees which I'm trying to improve. In the first phase, we built 6 new schools to replace the old ones. And in the second phase, we've started 6. And just 2 days ago, I handed over 2 out of that 6. So that will bring to 8 the schools that we've done so far. So I am going this way because there was a call on me and I'm responding to that particular call, to the best of my ability.
Amazing. Right. So again, we'll be talking more into what it is that you're getting ready to do in the next year. Still in opposition. I want to establish.
At least for the next
3 years. Looking at winning power soon.
We pray so.
Right. You sit on the committee
of the
economy and development as a ranking member. You seem to be very vocal about the things that are happening with the economy. You want to paint a picture, to us what the CD conversation looks like right now.
So yes, I'm very vocal. That's my job as the ranking member. So the ranking member and the chairman lead the committee, but the ranking is from the opposition. I'm vocal because for the things that are going on in the economy today, some of them are a continuation of things that were started. Some are new. Some are a suspension or a cancellation of certain things that were going on. I see some of them having the potential to succeed, and we have a responsibility to encourage the government on it. But I also see some of them that are not sustainable. And again, we have a responsibility, especially having been in power before and having seen where we succeeded and failed. I have a responsibility to draw the attention of the government that this place, if you go, you will fail. We failed here, don't try the same thing. Right. And so it is in that context that you see that I'm pretty vocal in trying to encourage and caution as government goes about its work. Yeah.
So let's come back to the city conversation.
Yeah. So the city has, I mean, sometimes I hear people say it has stabilized. It's not stabilized. It's appreciated. It has actually even gone up. And it has gone up because of something. For those of your viewers who are honest to themselves, initially the government did not want to admit what they were doing to the city. So in the beginning, when I, on behalf of the minority, said that we know what you are doing, and that what you are doing is that you are pumping dollars onto the market to suppress the rates, the government denied it. The governor of the central bank said, no, it's not true. They are not doing any market intervention. He came out on record to say it's not true. Then the bishops' conference went to see the president. The Catholic bishops' conference went to see the president. And then they said, Mr. President, the NPP guys, the minority guys are saying that the structural issues with the city have not been solved, but that you guys are just pumping dollars. And the president said it's not true, but it is good leadership that is making the city appreciate. Your viewers can check. All the stories are online. Then there's a document from the Bank of Ghana. It's called the Summary of Economic and Financial Data. That's where all the numbers are. So we went into it, we looked at the numbers, and we started drawing attention that you have pumped so far, at the time, we said so far you've pumped about 3 billion onto the market. And the IMF took notice. And the IMF called out the government that it's true you are pumping. You can't be pumping like this. So A, stop the pumping, and B, put in place a framework under which you will pump. What are the conditions under which a government should be allowed to pump? So stop it and develop a framework. And then they stopped. And when they stopped, the currency started depreciating again, which meant that the real problem has not been solved. So you recall that when the president held his press encounter, one journalist asked him that, Mr. President, the currency has started depreciating again. It was there that the president admitted that, well, it's true, the Bank of Ghana was pumping. In fact, the word they used was intervening. It is since they stopped that it started depreciating, which meant that all along what we were saying was true. Right. And they were trying to hide the truth from the Ghanaian people. So they agreed on a framework with the Bank of Ghana. Part of the framework is that every month now, before they pump, they have to announce. So now you see some stories coming out that the Bank of Ghana is going to pump 1 billion. The Bank of Ghana is going to pump another 1 billion. This December, they said 800 million. It's because of the work that we have done as the minority in highlighting what they were doing. Why is it important to highlight it? It's important to highlight it because, first, we must ask ourselves, for a country that didn't even have dollars, to the extent that we have to go to IMF, all of a sudden, where are we getting dollars from? Number two, is the dollar source sustainable? And number three, does it mean that the real structural issues have been solved? Thank you. That is why we draw attention. It's not out of malice. So now in answering the first question, now the Bank of Ghana has now come out to admit that they are getting the dollars from the Gold for Reserves program, also known as the Gold Purchase program. I know the NDC people get unhappy when the Bank of Ghana admits, because once that is admitted, people will give credit to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia that he's the one who brought the Gold Purchase program. And so they don't like that truth to come out. But that is the truth. We don't need to haggle over that. We rather need to quickly move to the other two questions. Is it sustainable? Have the structural problems been solved? But they are too worried about who gets credit. So sometimes they are trying to obfuscate. Anyway, let me put that aside. So the question now becomes, is it sustainable? At the time that Dr. Bawumia led us to bring in the Gold Purchase program, gold price was about $1,700 an ounce on the world market. Today it's about $4,200 an ounce. So we're making a lot of windfall on it for the same ounce of gold. So we're getting a lot more. And so this government is earning a lot more. But question, will gold prices be there forever? I don't know. And if we don't know, should we be pumping it all onto the market? That's a question that's at large for us to answer. Then the second one becomes, so how about the structural issues that are causing higher demand for dollar than supply traditionally? Have those structural issues been dealt with? My view, respectfully, no, they haven't been dealt with. People are trading dollar around. You see all these people around. You can ask them for $1 million. They have it in their bag. They can pay. There's no serious economy in which you have that one. We struggled with it as a government. If you are going to struggle with it and just be pumping onto the market, then you haven't solved the problem. So how do you solve it? We've been speaking about it. Now I notice that the Bank of Ghana is trying to take action. So last week, the Police CID and Bank of Ghana moved in and did some arrests. And the Bank of Ghana also now tried to deal with some unlicensed forex bureaus. So I see they are trying to listen to what we've been saying. So what's happened to the city is that there's been a lot of pumping. Initially they were denying. Now they finally admitted that they've pumped 10 billion onto the market. It's okay that you admit. Pumping can be the permanent solution. So now that you've admitted, let's try and answer the sustainability question and answer the question of the structural solution. That's what young people want. That's what we all want for Ghana. And that's what is happening on the currency side.
Okay, right. So back to where members of the NPP are declaring where they stand with who. Again, one would have said that, well, it's normal. Before we get into primaries, you see many camps wrapped in the same party, and then once there's a winner, then everybody just moves towards the leader, and we make it happen. But this had gone so far that, you know, both two camps had to be called into a room and documents be put out, making sure that certain languages are not used and whatnot. So again, the conversations are not looking like they're going to help build back the party. You, on the other hand, have completely declared your position with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Number three, yes. Wow. Campaign continues here, doesn't it? Tell me why that decision to stay with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Very quickly, I don't think that there's anything wrong in, for example, members of parliament aligning. Because we're in a competition, people will take choices. That's not a big deal. And we don't have to pretend that, you know, we are neutral. We're not neutral. So that's number one. Number two, I think the worry rather is how you conduct yourself. I support Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, but I'll never go out there and make disparaging remarks about Kennedy or Brian or Kwabena Japong or Edichum. I won't do that. I will state my case for why I think DMB is the best bet for us. And that's what you expect all the other candidates and camps to do. So the worry is rather about how people misconduct themselves under the guise of campaign. People who will misbehave, even if there's no campaign, they will misbehave. They only use a campaign as cover. It's like a guy who will beat his girl and then he will claim that, oh, it's because I was drunk. It's not the alcohol. You, in your mind, you had made up your mind that you want to misbehave. Okay? Another guy can drink, but will never go that route. So I don't think it's even the campaign. It's just that there are some people who enjoy disrespecting everybody, misbehaving, attacking, insulting everybody. And that is what we have to discipline and call out. Why do I support Bawumia? It's because, number one, if you look at the character of the various persons that are contesting, he embodies the kind of character that you want in the leader of the NPP. You use the word elitist. I wouldn't say elitist. But that party of well-mannered, well-cultured, thoughtful leaders is led by people who embody a certain character: respect for all persons, humility, inclusiveness. And if you go as far back as 1947, when the UGCC, which is our roots, where we trace our roots to, started, you will find that across the value chain, from Dankwa to Buzia to Dombo to Victor Usu to Pawili to Edubuahin, to John Ajekum Kufuor, to Adodankwa Akufo-Addo, you will find a certain character trait. And if you look across, you will find those traits in Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So first of all, he embodies the character. Secondly, if you listen to them, he's the one who comes to the table with the kind of rich ideas that can transform the party and this country. Today we were just talking about the gold for reserves or the gold purchase program. That was DMB. I mean, the government says they've cancelled Zipline because we shouldn't be flying medical items to a particular place.
Well, they actually stated why. Some of the things that were being flown across the country were not medical.
It is so sad that this government takes Ghanaians for a ride, and Ghanaians are allowing themselves to be taken for a ride. When the government comes and says, open their mouth and say that some of the things were not medical equipment, and Ghanaians also just sit down quietly and say, then it's true, I get shocked. I would imagine that the government will commission an audit by an independent entity of some sort to run that audit and come back and bring that audit report so that I can read, a PNC person can read, a civil society or media person can read, not just merely what the minister says. The same minister is the one who came to tell us that the software for managing health data was on a server in India. And the people who run the software came and said it's not true, it's run in Ghana. He just wanted to cancel the contract, to give a dog a bad name and handle it. This, if you give me a opportunity, I'll just go down that. I don't want to go there. These were the same people who told us that 1,500 ECG containers are lost.
Yes.
And then they came back 1 week later that they have found the containers. And everybody's quiet. So if their minister comes to tell me that Zipline was not flying, I mean, no, it doesn't have credibility. But I'm saying that these are some of the brilliant ideas that DMB rolled out. So if you look across, everybody's trying to push ideas. I see Kennedy trying to push ideas of made in Ghana goods. I see Brian pushing ideas of his hotels and other things. I see DMB pushing ideas of reforms in the party and reforms on the national economic side. And I am fortified by the ideas that he's pushing. So he is somebody who has a character, he has the ideas. And then my third point, we want to win power in 2028. We don't want to try. We want to have a product that is already been marketed, that has brand equity on the market. I've traveled with DMB across the country. Everywhere you go, it's like MTN. Everywhere you go, people recognize him. And that's one of the values you need in a presidential candidate. I was with him in Achimswedro, and kids out of school came to mob him. They would say, hey, Baumia, Baumia. They can identify him. There are some of our candidates, if you put them on a ballot paper today, the first question somebody will say, who be this? Yeah. You see that video that's on social media? Who be this? They can't even identify them. And for a party that wants to win power in 2028, you don't go and try a candidate that people will be asking, who be this? You go with a candidate who is well known and well marketed. Those are principally my three reasons. The other four are members of the party. I believe they mean well for the party. But at this point in time, I don't think that they represent that thing that we are looking for in the one who can win 2028 for us.
Well, fortunate for you, all indicators show that he is the good person, the right man for the job. Global Info Analytics had put their reports out there, and the many...
yesterday I think there was one by the Conrad Adenauer Stifting Foundation that gave him about 67% or so. But we are trying hard not to look at those polls.
Yes, I was going to ask if that gives you any form of confidence.
Well, I think it... that coupled with our own internal polls, it gives us, may I say, a lot more hope that we're heading in the right direction. But I think what we should guard against is complacency and, relying on that and saying, Charlie, that's in, we don't win already. No, it's not true. Until the last vote is counted, you haven't won.
Do you believe in God?
Very much.
Are you a Christian?
Very much.
Okay.
That's Dr. Mensa Otabil.
Yes.
Who is my spiritual father.
Yes.
That's Prophet Nanasse
Ofoase Ayirebi,
my wife's spiritual father.
Okay.
If that is anything to
go by.
It tells you, how much faith I have in matters of God.
Awesome. And seeing Prophet Nanasse Ofoase Ayirebi over there means that you believe in prophecies.
I do.
So there is, a prophet in Ghana, Prophet El Bernard, who has actually prophesied that Kennedy Japan is going to win the primaries. Does that mean anything to you as someone who...
I know people that he prophesied were going to win their parliamentary elections and they didn't win.
I see.
I have also heard other prophets who have prophesied that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will win. The Bible says, test all spirits. So we're here. There were prophets of Baal, there were prophets that, including Elijah and the rest. So when it comes to prophetic matters, the fact that somebody is announced as a prophet does not mean that everything that he says he has seen is what is in the spiritual realm. And so we hear them, but we'll do our work.
Right. This same prophet has actually prophesied as well that you will become president one day in this country. Does that give you any reason to...
My answer doesn't change. Okay. I have seen in the Bible prophets who have said one thing that didn't come to pass, and other prophets who have said things that have come to pass. And I've heard conflicting prophecies all over. The Bible says, test all spirits. Okay. If what you are doing is in accordance with the will of God will prevail. So it doesn't change my answer in any way.
Awesome. How about yourself? Do you have any do you harbor any desire to ever lead this country as a
I told you
president?
earlier that even the small MP I'm chopping,
Yes.
I was called to it because politics had not been my plan. Right from school. There's a book I'm writing, which I hope to publish in January. It's a book about business. Right from school, my dream has been to do business, and then somewhere down my career to add law to it. And I got called into parliamentary work. Even now, I'm struggling. So don't carry me to other. No, don't carry me.
Well, now we believe strongly, you and I believe strongly, that because he is such an obedient servant of God, if God calls him to it, he will show up to get the work done.
The problem is that when God calls, it is only you who hears that call.
So whether you would respond,
I'll tell you.
right? But I don't think running this country should be that difficult. Let's talk about running this country the last 12 months. Let's say. So let's review His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's leadership in the last 12 months. What would you say about it?
He has started like how all presidents start in their first term. I was privileged enough to see how President Kufuor started his first term. I was just about 19 years at the time, but I was very politically conscious. And I saw President Kufuor's first year with Yao Safo as finance minister. And he did a negative rate of debt accumulation. They pumped some dollars onto the market to stabilize. And the name that Ghanaians gave to Osafo was Oyadiyi Osafo. Then I saw the first year of President Mills in 2009, where Kwabena Dufo was the finance minister. He did a lot of sterilization to bring down inflation. So he got 3 years of single-digit inflation. The word that, or the name they gave to him was unprecedented. Then I saw Ken Ofori-Atta in 2017. He removed about 14 taxes, and they were calling him the abolisher-in-chief, abolisher-general. People were praising him in Abosu Okai. African Development Bank even gave him an award as Finance Minister of the Year. Then I've seen Ato Forson, negative rate of debt accumulation, removed about 4 taxes, pumped some dollars onto the market, and people say Ato is forcing. Are you seeing a pattern?
Yes.
So I am seeing him do what presidents do in their first year. The problem often comes when what I call the political economy starts calling. Yeah. So you see all the young people who were on the float dancing Queen, Mahama, Queen. They were doing that in expectation, for example, for many of them, that they were going to get jobs. And they promised them that they have a plan for the jobs. For those who want jobs in the public sector, they will do what they call automatic posting of the teachers and a few other ones. And then for those who want jobs in the private sector, they will ensure that the economy booms so that they are recruited. He will do that by rolling out what we call the 24-hour economy program. Now, the political economy calls when after about 1 year, the young people are sitting at home and they say, Chairman, but the job, how far? Especially when they've seen that you've been appointed. Your wife has been appointed. This one has been appointed to UK or you, but they are still sitting. I was like, Chairman, how far? Then now when you start explaining to them that, and the revenue situation, and say, masa. So now what happens is that you are forced to spend money you don't have. And that often becomes the beginning of what they call the fiscal expansionary problem that most governments have. The other problem is when on your own, whether this has happened or not, on your own, a major shock happens to the Ghanaian economy. The Ghanaian economy is still an exporter of raw materials and an importer of everything. Some economists like to call it the Guggisberg economy, because what Gordon Guggisberg introduced, which is to export cocoa and gold, is still what we are doing. So when cocoa and gold prices do well, like they are doing now, the economy appears to be doing well. When cocoa gold prices tank, we're in trouble. When there's a shock, like in 2008 happened to President Kufuor, the global financial crisis, right, then you see the capital markets and the currency markets taking their pinch of salt on us. So that's the second problem. So this government has started like how governments start in their first year. My worry is that they are spending so much time dancing and doing settings and PR that they are not dealing with the structural issues. We talked about the currency quite recently. Take taxes, for example, or national revenue. We're supposed to be mobilizing about, give or take, 20-25% of national revenue so that the government can get revenue and pay the teachers, pay the contractors, everybody else. When they came to power, national revenue was at 16%. Then they came to do politics and said, oh, we'll remove this tax, we'll remove the tax. We like you. The former government, they were wicked. Do you know where the revenue now is? It's 11%. So they've lost 5% of GDP. Today's GDP is 1 trillion cedis. If you multiply, that's 50 billion cedis. So they've lost 50 billion cedis in nominal terms. That's the money that they can't spend. Aha. When you say this, oh, fiscal discipline, fiscal discipline. But it's because they are not raising the money. And that is my worry, that if those structural issues are not dealt with, today gold and cocoa prices can be doing well and you are dancing about it. When it begins to tank, and when the political economy starts exacting its call on you, that, Master, my road, you haven't fixed it. Stop the grammar, you haven't fixed my road. This contractor hasn't been paid. That's when now you see government struggling. And I really, really hope for the sake of Ghana that they don't find themselves in that spot. That we'll learn from this 65 years of back and forth. My fear is that they don't appear to be tackling the structural issues and are still, basking in the goodwill. And the earlier, I think, in all humility, they pay attention to the substantive issues, the better it will be for all of us.
Heading towards 2026, the primaries, 31st of January, we're going to by 5 p.m.
Yeah, or by 3 p.m.
By 3 p.m.
These are only 276 polling stations.
Right.
Yeah, so by 3 p.m. we should be done.
What are the numbers we're looking at?
About 280,000 people across the country voting.
Awesome. And so by 3 p.m. we'll know who's leading the NPP. What's the day going to look like? Paint us a picture.
I expect it to be a peaceful day. This is not the first time Ghana is voting in a presidential primary. NPP's done it, NDC's done it. It really shouldn't be a big deal. I think the only problem will come from those who have made up their mind that they want to create chaos. Those who are losing and have already started threatening that if we lose, it's because they have rigged. So they will want to create chaos at some other places so that they can use it as a story to say, we lost because something. But I think everybody in this country now has clarity on where this election is going. I think we owe ourselves a duty as a political party to, one, conduct ourselves well on the day, and two, ensure that nobody mars the event. And I think that, for example, the security agencies also have to understand that if you allow, let's say you even have biases or interests, and you allow people to mar the democracy on that day because of your personal interest, you are doing Ghana a disservice. I mean, I saw some of the elections, the by-elections that we had, and you saw police people there and these macho boys from the NDC just running riot, and they were just treating them with kid gloves. Even if you have sympathies with the NDC and you stand by for that to happen, it's our democracy that we are marring. It wasn't glamorous when we saw it at Ayawaso West Wogon during the NPP era. Why do you think it will be glamorous if you allow it to happen on your watch? So I think that we owe ourselves a responsibility to be tidy on the day, and those who are officials also to do their work professionally, so that at the end of the day, the Ghanaian democracy moves forward. Lessons
we've learned in the 2024 election that are going to impact strongly, in your opinion, especially also in the camp of DMV. Lessons we've learned in 2024 that are going to impact strongly this primaries.
I think one of the major lessons that we have learned is that we should confront every bit of falsehood early enough. Sometimes you live or labor under the apprehension that this is so blatant a lie that nobody will believe it. But there are people who start actually believing some of these. There were several examples in our day. There was a story the NDC cooked up, that there was a book that the Achim Mafia had written called Ejapade. My name was in it.
Yeah, but it was the document was brought out, wasn't it?
Brought out by who? It was a total fabrication by the NDC.
Right.
And I think one of the mistakes we made was that any sane person who reads this thing will realize that this thing is a cooked up story. Right. Because you can see how the same book, there are different versions of it, and anytime you see a new version, it purports to make predictive something that happened just like 2 months ago.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the old version that was available did not include that thing. So you could see clearly that somebody had sat down in a room, written this thing, catalogued some incidents as though it's part of a certain plan. And there were a good number of people in Ghana who believed it.
Yes.
And I think it took us too long to try to respond to that, because I think there was a thinking that this is so blatantly false that nobody will believe it. It's one of the major lessons that going forward, even if a pin drops, you shouldn't allow it to, slide. You need to respond in time and vociferously so that people know people are not allowed to consume the falsehoods. And this is one of the reasons why sometimes on the floor of Parliament, we appear not to be allowing anything to go. So one small thing, you want to litigate it and get it sorted out because you don't want people to walk away with the wrong impression.
You did an incredible job with the COVID-19 communication on that. I think the Ghanaians fell in love with you right at the time.
They didn't bring me my samba.
They didn't bring you.
In the end, they said rather me have chop money.
Because you were showing up every 2 months, so then okay, so it's be around no. So, but one thing your party or the government didn't do well at all was PR properly the things that you were doing. Because I was sitting on television the other day and telling them about the free SHS thing, because now my son benefits from that, and I'm like, oh, this thing was actually real. Then in 2024, I think this will be November, I sat with a group of young people who honestly did not care about NPP or NDC. They just wanted to go to school and then be happy children. They sat there to do the PR for your government.
So first, I think we have to take the feedback in good faith that our PR was not as robust enough as it should have been. I think it was a product of how we constructed our PR machinery. Right. We had about 3 or 4 different layers, and the coordination, I think, at a point wasn't very robust. And so everybody thought that somebody was doing something and nobody was doing it well enough. It is a lesson that going forward, I think we should learn from and be a bit more robust in our PR exercise.
All right. What do you do when you're not in Parliament, questioning all the things that the majority is bringing? When we came into his office, guys, a family man when you enter into his office and you see everything about family in his office. So I think this is really beautiful. We saw pictures of your family here, which is really nice. But what do you do when you're not in Parliament, arguing and doing all the things that you do? No, you don't come up. I think genuinely, there are a few young people who enjoy watching you speak in Parliament, because in the past it was not the case. We didn't see a lot of you in the past speaking on the floor.
Well, because in the past I was mostly holed up in the ministry.
Yes, and then you were an MP as well, which is something we've also questioned. So again, 3 questions in one. Oh my God, help me. So the fact that MPs who are supposed to be in their constituencies making things happen are appointed into ministerial roles, and then they're busy there, supposed to make things happen, and then it's almost as if you're juggling between jobs and you don't get things done.
Well, there's a history to it.
How did you do yours?
There's a history to it. In the First Republic and the Second Republic, we ran a purely parliamentary system. So that was even worse, because the MPs or the executive was wholly brought or drawn out of the MPs, like what they do in Britain. The Prime Minister is a member of Parliament. All the other ministers are members of Parliament. So First and Second Republic, that's what we did. So Kwame Nkrumah and Kofi Abdul-Buzia, that was it. By the time we got to Hillary Liman, that was the Third Republic, we decided to swing totally to the presidential system. The consequence of that was that Liman's budget got thrown out of Parliament because he didn't have enough of a machinery in Parliament to shepherd his budget through. So when we're drafting the 4th Republican Constitution, we decided to do a hybrid, that some MPs can be ministers and some ministers can be brought from outside. Yes, it imposes a toll on you, but I think the answer to it is organization and resources. So in my constituency, for example, I have a constituency office in the constituency. I have staff who are there. So where ordinarily somebody will say, I'm looking for the MP, I can't find him. You may not find me in person, but you find my office. You can go there with your documentation and whatever. And I have officers here in my office in Accra who liaise with the parliamentary office. So this morning, like you mentioned, when you came in, you saw me signing off some constituency documents because the office in the constituency had processed those scholarship requests and the team here had worked on it. So that is one way to deal with it. But to get that effectively done, you also need resources. And unfortunately, our parliament does not provide a lot of resources for that. So if you do not have other ways of mobilizing resources to help, then you will struggle. I was lucky to have had almost a decade career before I came into parliament. So I have a lot of businesses and persons who are interested in my progress and who support my scholarship and other things. And so I'm able to mobilize the resources to make it happen. But I still need more resources. So guys, please.
He just appointed me his
Finance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you want to support me, come through me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just that there's no commission, so don't worry about that. There's no commission.
Hard work.
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to be talking a lot.
Public service. No, so it is in that
For God and
context.
country.
Yeah, it is. It's in that context that I get the support.
Right.
But I think that that's what you need to be able to put an architecture in place that allows you to do both.
So apart from parliamentary business in the constituency, what do you do? If we're looking for Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, what's he doing?
Find him in his black couch in his library at home, either watching a football match or a documentary or reading. So currently I have a list of books I want to read for Christmas. Okay. Those are on the second shelf there. Okay. Those two that I want to read for the Christmas period. I read a lot because it gives me a lot of perspectives and knowledge. I may not have been there, but I can read and understand a lot of it. So that's what you find me doing. I'm boring like that.
No, it's evident. We can tell.
Really?
We can actually tell.
I see.
What football team do you support?
Manchester United. Unfortunately, we're having a tough time.
Who's the Manchester United?
Charlie, bless you. You will go far, eh? You will go far.
Without the suffering boy suffering.
Don't worry.
You'll be fine.
The kingdom of God suffered violence. Taken it by force.
So you support Black Stars, I believe.
Oh, of course. Back home, I support Kumasi Asante Kotoko.
Okay.
And then I have a club in my constituency known as Abnasi Real Talent that I sponsor and I support as well. Those are the three football teams. The rest of Europe and the rest of the world, I don't like them very much.
Okay. I'm sure they like you a lot. I'm sure they like you a lot. Black Stars going to the World Cup 2026.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
A bit of nostalgia. Okay. I think the first time we qualified for the World Cup, I was working at Joy FM at the time. It was a very exciting period. Unfortunately, sometimes we lack a few things that must come together. One of them in particular being the concentration. Those days, if you listen to Kobna Ibuaran commentary, he will say, and a loss of concentration up front or a lack of concentration up front. Yeah, it happens to be one of our problems many times. This time around, I'm also hearing a lot of talk about the technical competencies of the people on the bench. But I think whatever can be done before we get there, we need to try and fix it so that we don't go and drop out. Because, for example, if you look at who we have to play in our group stages, it's no kids play. So we'll have to get our act together even before we get there so that we can do what the Stephen Appias and the rest did, take us pretty far.
Awesome. Now we'll start with Coach Otuado. There's nothing we can do about it.
Well, I think that if he listens some more and tones down on his arguing with everybody who has feedback or a perspective, so listen and focus, I think he will do a bit better than he's doing now. Yeah.
Honorable, this has been a great conversation. I have enjoyed it thoroughly.
No, it's been my pleasure having you and your team here in my office.
I've enjoyed it thoroughly. And again, the team was shaking when we're coming because we know that you're definitely, you come with wealth of knowledge about many conversations and you have actually done justice to that. But your final words to your constituents, so especially the NPP towards the 2026 primaries and of course to the Ghanaian people.
So to my constituents, I'll say, guys, thanks for giving me the opportunity to be of service. I'm doing my best. It's not easy. I pray that you continue to pray for me and to support me. And I also pledge to you that I'll continue to do my best as we move forward. To my colleagues in the NPP, I will say that it's okay to have different views, but we must be disciplined, even in how we articulate those views. And we must have the two ultimate goals in mind: a strong party and a strong Ghana that we are working for. And if that's what we have at the back of our minds, even when we have differing views, we won't be misbehaving as we try to express our views. And maybe if I'll take an opportunity to say something to a lot of your viewers who are young people, because I think that the young people of this country are the most important resource. It's not the gold or the lithium or anything. It's the human beings, the young people in this country. And I know we as young people, I'm very young. Very young. Yes.
Very young.
I'm 43 years old.
Yes, very young. Not, yes.
I know that we as young people are very, anxious and energetic. And I think that we can bring that anxiety and energy to start a process of helping deliver some of the change that we want to see. I'm excited to see a lot of young people in this NDC government. I'm really pleased about it. And I think that it is an example of how young people can be given opportunity to be part of the solving of the problems around us. So I want to encourage your young people who are out there to take the bull by the horn, get up, own it. Let's start a process of fixing some of the little things around us. It won't be perfect in the beginning, but as we keep iterating and working at it, we can do some of the most amazing things that have not been done yet. And I wish all of them a Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much. A Merry Christmas to you too. Patricia Kendo, yes, starting now, so more than she can.
Still. From to this place is quite far.
It's far.
Yeah.
What order for your fancy?
From my poultry farm, so it's coming.
Next year, June, cry. But thank you so much again for accommodating us into your space. We are really grateful, and we wish you all the very best in 2026. And your primaries will be keeping our tabs on you with the great job you're doing at Ofoase. Maybe very soon we will join you there.
In January, we'll be handing over one more school. Yes. School number 9.
Okay.
I'll invite you guys over.
We will be there. We will be there, and I'm sure. What's the meal that is enjoyed by people in Ofoase? So
usually it's fufu.
It's fufu. So we'll come with empty stomachs. My boys, they're always ready to eat, and so we'll come and make that happen. But thank you so much, and we wish you all the very best. Now, to you out there, in fact, we promise to have great conversations, ones that would elevate certain conversations to, the level that all young people will understand that running this country is running with you. We're doing this with you, and make sure that we keep you updated on things happening in this country. Thank you so much for always joining us here on Voting Voices. Connect with us on all social media platforms. It's MX24GH on all social media platforms. Also Voting Voices on Instagram. Please join us as we have great conversations. My name is Miriam Udwak Mensah. See you again.